Today I'm back with another week of school lunch inspiration. As always, all of these lunches are fun and cute, but still easy to make. So for today's lunch, I'm gonna start by making some roll-ups. Now, instead of using regular tortillas, I picked up these new ones from Walmart. These are whole wheat wraps, and they're actually lower in carbs, so if you're looking for that sort of thing, you might like these. So now I'm just gonna spread on some chunky peanut butter, about 2 tablespoons worth. I'm going to add extra crunch to this by adding a sprinkling of granola. This is the Bare Naked granola in the cocoa cashew butter flavor. Some sea salt, it's really very good. So now I'm just adding 1 whole banana, and I'm gonna roll it all up as tightly as I can. Now, a trick to getting these to cut nicely is to stick them in the fridge for a few minutes. And when they're nice and cold, they definitely cut a lot easier. So it looks like with these new lunch boxes, I'm gonna be able to fit about 6 slices in this large compartment. I really think the kids are gonna love these, and I think they're especially gonna love the crunchy granola in there. Now, moving right along to the vegetable. For this lunch, I'm just gonna keep it simple and add some celery. Now, I've been told that with this lunchbox, things like applesauce will not leak. I'm gonna go ahead and fill up this back section with applesauce. I'm gonna smooth it out in there. Then I have a really fun topper to put on the applesauce. These are called Top This, and these are actually made for cupcakes. I found these at Party City, and they're really very interesting. They look like really cute daisies. They have the texture of a wafer. There's actually no sugar in there. They're basically just cornstarch. This is such a cute and easy way to dress up the lunch. Next up, I'm adding some pistachios. So I'm pouring about a tablespoon right in this little compartment, and there's still some room in there. So I think it'll be really fun to add in some kisses. I'm gonna add 1 blue one in there, and I think I can fit 1 more. Next, I'm throwing in a string cheese, but to dress it up a little bit, I've taken some of these pineapple picks. I found these at Hobby Lobby. I just stuck it to the outside of my string cheese wrapper, and then I sort of decorated the outside of the string cheese using a Sharpie. And then last but not least, I'm also throwing in some popcorn. This is just some homemade air-popped popcorn. And then for the drink today, I'm going to throw in some of this lemonade. Good morning and welcome to Wednesday. Now today's lunch is completely gluten-free and nut-free. I'm gonna start by rolling up some slices of turkey meat. Then I'm gonna cut each roll in half. Next, I'm gonna cut the cheese. And instead of using a plain old regular knife, I'm cutting the cheese using my crinkle cutter. This is super easy to do, and it just makes it a little bit more interesting. Next, I'm gonna slice up lots of fresh cucumber. And I'm actually making sure to cut these a little bit on the thicker side, and that's because I want to add all of these things to these bamboo skewers. I found these at Hobby Lobby, and they are the perfect size to fit right inside our lunchbox. So basically, I'm trying to make one of those sandwich on a stick sort of things, but since this lunch is gluten-free, I'm omitting the bread and just adding cucumber slices instead. Now, if you want to make this at home, you can really switch up and use any ingredients you want. You could add cherry tomatoes or slices of pickles. That would be really good. Next, I'm throwing in some fresh strawberries, followed by something new that I'm hoping the kids will like. These are coconut rice pudding cups. They're dairy-free and they're gluten-free, and I found them at Costco. Now, I definitely think that this lunch needs some sort of grain or chip or cracker, but since I'm trying to keep it gluten-free, I'm just gonna add a handful of these corn, pea, bean, and quinoa crisps. I found these at Trader Joe's, and they are gluten-free. Now, I've actually tried this coconut rice pudding, and it wasn't very coconutty. I'm not sure the kids will like it, to be honest. So since it's not very coconutty, I thought I would go ahead and add a scoop of coconut to the kids' lunches. That way they can sprinkle it on top of the pudding when it's time for them to dig in. I'm definitely gonna remember to put in a spoon today. Next, I'm gonna throw in a cute little box of these vanilla yogurt raisins. And finally, to drink today, I'm just gonna send them with some water. Hey guys, and welcome to Thursday. For today's lunch, I'm going with one of the kids' favorites, breakfast for lunch. So I've actually started by preheating my thermoses. These are pre-cooked turkey sausage links. They're definitely a favorite around here, not only for breakfast, but for lunch too. Now that I've got these heated up, I'm gonna add about 5 pieces to each thermos. And I'm gonna get that lid on there nice and tight so they can stay nice and hot. Now, what goes better with sausage than pancakes? To make this quick and easy, I'm using a store-bought pancake mix. This is the multi-grain mix from Trader Joe's. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and cook up this entire box right now. I'll throw some into the lunch boxes and freeze the rest for later. And I want these pancakes to be pretty small, kind of like silver dollar pancakes. I think that they'll fit a lot better in the lunch boxes if they're on the smaller side. And just as a side note, you guys, I am keeping the turkey sausage hot in today's lunch, but these pancakes are gonna be served at room temperature. My kids are totally fine with that, and it's much easier to do it that way. To go along with these pancakes, I'm also sending a tiny container of maple syrup. The kids can actually just dip their pancakes directly in there. I do have a separate container for the syrup, so hopefully it won't get too messy. For the fruit today, I'm adding in a scoop of grapes. This is a mixture of green and red. And for the vegetable, I'm throwing in a big handful of baby carrots. Now to go along with these carrots, I'm also gonna give the kids some ranch, of course. I'm still using this yogurt-based ranch. I'm gonna pour a little bit of this ranch directly into this little section, and hopefully it won't leak into the other compartments, because I'm pretty sure the kids won't like ranch on their pancakes. Now, I definitely want to dress up this box a little bit, and the easiest way to do that is just to throw some pics in there. So I have a giraffe, and a couple of pandas. This lunch doesn't really need these things, but they do make it a little bit more fun and interesting. Now, before I put this in the lunchbox, I do have a separate lid for the syrup, because I would really hate for that to spill all inside the lunchbox. Now to this, I'm also gonna add a little yogurt tube. This is a cherry-flavored Greek yogurt tube. And then, since we still have a ton left over from Valentine's Day, I'm also throwing in a little bag of pretzels. And last but not least, the drink for today. I'm gonna give the kids the option between grape juice or they can just have water. Hey guys, and happy Friday! For today's lunch, I'm gonna start by making a sandwich. For this, I'm using 2 pieces of whole wheat bread. Next, I'm going to take a big glass cup and I'm going to remove part of the bread along the top. And I'm using a cup because I want to show you guys that you don't have to have special cutters to make fun lunches. You can just use what you have around the house. Now that we have our bread ready to go, I'm gonna fill it with some chicken salad that I made earlier. Now, I actually make chicken salad lots of different ways, but for today, I just made it with some chopped up rotisserie chicken. To that, I added some diced celery, some cut up grapes, a little bit of mayo, the juice of 1 lemon, and salt and pepper. I'm keeping it pretty basic here. I'm gonna go ahead and add it to the lunchbox. Now I want this guy to look like an owl, so I'm using 2 extra slices of cucumber for his eyes. I've cut a little triangle for his beak. Now I'm taking 1 grape that I cut in half, and I'm gonna place these directly on top of the cucumbers. He's definitely looking like an owl now. Now, because I don't want his eyes to fall off, I'm gonna take a couple of sandwich picks, and I know this looks a little bit harsh, but I'm gonna stick them directly through his eyeball. Trust me guys, this will not hurt him a bit. Next, I'm placing 2 little slivers of carrot to look like his wings. Now I know those probably won't stay put in the lunchbox, but that's okay. Moving right along, I'm going to add lots of cucumber, and as a very special treat, I'm also adding 1 or 2 of these Swedish fish directly into the treat section of the lunchbox. And to go along with the Swedish fish, I'm also gonna add some goldfish. But these aren't just regular goldfish. These are the new Epic Crunch goldfish in the ranch flavor. Now, I'm kind of out of room in this lunchbox, so in this separate container, I've added lots of slices of apples, which I've squirted with a little bit of lemon juice to keep them nice and fresh. Then I'm adding a really delicious fruit dip. Let me show you how I made it. This is basically just 3 ingredients: chunky peanut butter, low-fat vanilla yogurt, and a tiny bit of honey. The honey is optional. Next, I'm gonna mix this all together and it becomes a delicious, easy fruit dip. I think this tastes a lot like peanut butter pie, and it's perfect for dipping the apples in. I'm gonna throw just a few mini chocolate chips right on the top. Okay friends, let me know in the comments down below, out of all of today's lunches, which one was your favorite? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and go ahead and hit that red subscribe button.